conservative new media viewers, JLin fans around the world, LA Lakers fans around the world. What's up? It's me, PFE, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert, and we're here to discuss in the long video format the Lakers' 96-80 defeat tonight to the New Orleans Pelicans that took place, the game in New Orleans, Louisiana. So Lakers lost by 16 points. With the defeat, the Lakers dropped 12-31 on the season. Pelicans improved to 21-21. We did make a short video about this game, so if you don't have time for the long video, or if you want to watch the short video first and then watch the long video, you can do that. You can find the video on our channel. It'll be the video right before this one. So it's about 6 minutes long and just kind of a much less detailed overview of what happened in the game. Anthony Davis, 29 points, 8 rebounds. He continues his domination. He is a supreme star on the rise. Also 4 block shots. Tyreke Evans, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Eric Gordon, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists. And off the bench, Quincy Pondexter, 12 points, 2 assists. Turning to the Lakers, 15 points and 13 rebounds from Jordan Hill. Kobe had 14 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. He also had 4 turnovers, and he shot 6 of 14. So it took him 14 shots to get 14 points, which is not as efficient as you would like. But Kobe did some good things in the third quarter. And so that was good to see. Wayne Ellington off the bench, 12 points, 4 rebounds. I should also mention that Nick Young, unfortunately, kind of fell back into a shooting slump in this game. He was only 3 of 11 for 9 points. Jeremy, 7 points. He played 21 minutes, 2 of 4 shooting, 1 of 1 from the 3-point range. And people have asked me before, is that included with field goals? Yes, it is. So the 1 of 1 from 3-point range is part of the 2 of 4 field goal attempts. And I know for a lot of basketball fans, you already know this, but there's a lot of JLin fans who are newer to basketball. And that's sometimes why I explain stuff that's for people that have been playing and watching basketball all their lives. It seems redundant. But there are a lot of people who are still they're just coming into the NBA now. So we want to go over things like that for them. 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 0 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, 3 turnovers, 1 personal foul, and his plus minus was a -2. The only Lakers player that had a positive plus minus tonight was Nick Young. Nick Young was a +3. And once again, the starters for the Lakers were seriously outplayed. Every single one of the starters for the Lakers had a double-digit negative plus minus, with the least bad being -11, which was Kobe and Jordan Hill. And Ed Davis was a -20, which was the worst on the team and certainly the worst among the starters. What happened in this game? The Lakers were up by 1 point going into halftime, and they only trailed by 1 point going into the fourth quarter. And then New Orleans just really put the foot on the gas and pulled away from the Lakers. But the truth is, it started before that. The unraveling for the Lakers started in the third quarter. And I discussed this in the short video, and I'll say it again here. Although the Lakers played pretty well offensively in the third quarter, they did not play well defensively. And so what happened for the Pelicans was they started making a bunch of shots. And they got into an offensive rhythm. And I said on Twitter during the game, look, this isn't the way. Lakers are playing the wrong way here. Because honestly, the starters weren't playing good defense. And so they were just kind of trading baskets with the Pelicans. And so that allowed New Orleans to start feeling good about themselves and seeing the ball go through the basket. And then once the reserves came in on both sides, it was too late. The Pelicans kept making shots, and the Lakers started missing shots. So you have to be very careful when you try to outscore a team, particularly a team like the Pelicans. I'd have to look at their ratings at the moment, but I know that some point earlier in the season they were like top 5 in offensive rating. What that means is they are among the top elite teams in the league at scoring or at getting the most points per possession. So if you try to outscore a team that's that good offensively, you're probably going to lose. And that's what happened to the Lakers here. So I just think they took the wrong approach in the third quarter. And the bench will get blamed because when the Pelicans started to pull away, it was against the Lakers bench. As I said, I think the real culprit here is the Lakers starters because they let up on the defense. And that's where things went from there. Now, just a quick overview of how Jeremy did in this game. Jeremy was the best player for the Lakers in the first half. He was great. I mean, it might have been the best half he's played as a Laker. He was outstanding on defense. He was efficient and good on offense. And to be completely honest with you, I think Byron really messed up in this game. If I were him, I know you want to go with your starters and your rotation, but you should have stayed with Jeremy the second half to begin the half. Although he can't, because this is part of the problem. The way that Kobe is playing right now, which some people will say it's the Magic Johnson version of Kobe, meaning he's looking to pass more and get a bunch of rebounds rather than score a lot. Kobe and Jeremy, it's kind of hard for them to coexist on the floor at the same time with Kobe playing like this because they're playing the same role, which is playmaker / scorer. This is part of the reason why Ronnie fits better with Kobe than Jeremy does, which is, for Lin fans, it's very similar to James Harden, Patrick Beverley, and Jeremy in Houston. The problem is that Jeremy and the guys he was on the floor with, they were on a roll late in the second quarter. And I think if you would have stayed with that, you would have won this game. Or you would have had a much better chance to win. So some people have criticized me before, and they say, well, you need a little bit, I need to learn a little bit more about strategy and sets and stuff. That's true, I do. Such as somebody like a B-ball breakdown who explained, okay, this is the ice defense on pick and rolls and stuff. I do need to learn a little bit more on that. That's just one area where I just never studied extensively. But I'm very good at picking and understanding the rhythm of a game. And there's not a lot of people that are going to tell you this is when things change and this is how it changed. There will be people who will point to Jeremy's steal and then turnover and say that was a turning point. No, it wasn't. Like I said, it was already set in motion with the way the starters for the Lakers did not play defense in the third quarter. That's what turned this game around and what lost the game for the Lakers, in my opinion. I'm not saying that they couldn't have won or there wasn't another scenario in which they could have still won, but that's where it was lost. If they had changed the way that they played then, if Byron had gone with a different line, put Jeremy in quicker or whatever, I think you would have a much better chance to win this game. And it's unfortunate. So Jeremy in the second half was still good, but he didn't get the opportunity to kind of unleash what he was doing in the first half. He was in such a great groove in the first half, and it wasn't. I just don't think he was put in the right circumstance or situation to keep that going in the second half. Like I said, in that situation, I might have put him in to start the second half. And this was definitely a situation where I really thought that Byron blew it as a coach. And I've been patient with Byron, and I understand Byron. Byron's old school guy. Pat Riley School of Coaching. If you work, and this type of thing. But I don't think Byron has a great feel for us in terms of making adjustments in the game. And in terms of his strategy and tactics and the offense that he runs, I don't think that's very good at all. As Ray B and others have pointed out, many people have pointed it out. Kay Huang on JLin Portal has said it's like a 1980s, 1990s offense before illegal defenses were set up. The rule for illegal defense was waived. Yeah, it is. It's not that good. So it's, but I just, having the right sense of the game and what was happening and how to make it happen. Tonight, Byron just did not have that. He really didn't. Ronnie didn't do hardly anything in this game. And Byron stayed with him for too long. And people say, are the Lakers trying to tank? I don't know. I don't know. But I can tell you that this was probably about as disappointed as I've been in Byron the entire year. And it's like I'm beyond being angry about it. He's just not a good coach. He's not a good coach. He's never been regarded as a particularly good coach. Yeah, he took the Nets to the finals twice, whatever, okay. You know what happened there. Jason Kidd was upset with him. Byron has the reputation as not the hardest worker, a guy that might like to be out on the golf course more than he'd be like inside studying film. And he's not a strategic master. I think David West said of Byron Scott, or of the team in which Byron Scott coached in New Orleans when they were the Hornets, we don't run any plays. So it's, I mean, this is what it is. And that's why I can't get too upset about it. It's just I'm kind of over it. And it's, so Byron sees Ronnie, and we'll talk about this more in a second, and Ronnie's quote-unquote tough or whatever. That's what Byron wants, and he plays him even if Ronnie's completely ineffective. What happened, let me just say this, and I'll say this a different way. I said Jeremy wasn't used right and all this. What happened was Jeremy was setting a pace in the game. He was running hard on offense, and he was playing terrific defense. He was creating turnovers and forcing the Pelicans into bad shots. As I mentioned, what the problem for the Lakers in the third quarter was they did not play good enough defense, including Ronnie, by the way. And so if you put Jeremy in before the Pelicans started to get into that offensive groove that they got into in the third quarter, then you could have changed the way the game went. But by the time Jeremy came back into the game late in the third quarter, like a minute and a half left, it was too late. The Pelicans already had all of their offensive confidence. And so all of the work that Jeremy and some of the bench guys did to take away the offensive confidence of the Pelicans, it was gone. And you can't get it back. one of the things that's really important in NBA basketball, any basketball, but definitely in the NBA, it's about runs, 12-0 run or 6-0 run. It's about runs, and it's about momentum. And once you lose the momentum, you're in trouble. We've talked about this before. You will often see games. A team's up by 15, 20 points, and then they think the game's over, so they just kind of go easy. And then the other team comes back, and then the team that had the lead, they can't get their momentum back. They end up losing because the other team's got all the momentum and the confidence, and the original team that was leading, it's too late to get it back. You can't get it back. That's exactly what happened in this game. By the time Jeremy and the second unit came in at the end of the third quarter, it was too late. It was already too late because all of that defensive work that had been done and the rattling the Pelicans and running the Pelicans up the court was gone. It was like starting to build a foundation of a building, and it all got wiped out. And now you're starting from nothing again. That's what happened in this game. And I was disappointed in Byron. I was disappointed in Ronnie. Ronnie's coming back from injury. I was really disappointed in Kobe. This is a situation where I thought, look, Kobe did some good things offensively in the third. And to be completely honest with you, Kobe had a lot of blown assists in this game, meaning he should have had a bunch more assists. But guys just missed shots, including some really easy shots around the rim. But because Jeremy and Kobe can't coexist a lot on the court, this is a situation where Jeremy should have been on the court. And I know Kobe fans and Lakers fans don't want to hear that, but that's what should have happened in this game if you wanted to win. So this is a game where it was just a failure on all aspects, because the thing with Kobe can't play defense anymore. He just can't. You saw that I think it was late in the third, maybe it was late in the fourth. Quincy Pondexter just went right by Kobe and went up for this incredible dunk that he just missed. Because of the Achilles tendon injury to Kobe, he can't play defense like he used to. That's one of the most common effects from Achilles tendon surgery and rupturing the Achilles is your defense suffers the worst. And so you put that reality combined with Kobe being 36, combined with all the minutes on his legs, he just can't play defense anymore. I mean, he can play okay defense if he's guarding the man that's dribbling the ball, but it's still not that good. And now you have a situation with Kobe where he's missing games, his body's hurting. He doesn't want to hurt his other Achilles tendon, as we talked about in the last long video. There's no resistance there on defense. And that's what happened in this game. The Lakers got into a track meet with a team that was better runners than them, essentially, and they got beat. And it was too late for Jeremy in the second unit to do anything. And it frustrates me because this could have been Jeremy's best game as a Laker. He had 3 steals at half. I mean, he was all over it. He was on it. And not only did the Lakers lose, and again, Jeremy can be the GOAT because, it was the steal and the turnover, that started the Pelicans run. So that's crazy. So you get that perception. Jeremy didn't get the chance to explode. If he had been able to play like start of the third, he could have really put up some numbers and really helped the team. But you never get to see that now. If those people that are familiar with economics, there's something called opportunity cost. It's kind of like what you give up What is the cost of what you're not doing? Well, the opportunity cost, so to speak, of this game is we didn't get to see what Jeremy could have done and probably would have done. So it's like, well, yeah, he did okay. It just becomes another throwaway thing. And so it's really unfortunate because, like I said, I thought he was on his way to a big game tonight. So that's kind of the overview for him as well as the overview for the team. Now let's discuss what happened leading up to this game. Now, leading up to this game, I don't think I got to mention this in the last video. Byron went on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet, and I guess he did a long interview, which I did not watch. Just did not have the time to watch it. But I know from what people have told me that in the interview, Byron was gushing over Ronnie Price again. And apparently Byron's still saying that he's not completely impressed with Jeremy. And apparently what was said about Ronnie was he understands the offense great. He's the best defender on the team. And he's the closest thing to Kobe on the team. So if Byron was an architect, it's kind of like he just built a 50-story skyscraper to Ronnie Price. And look, Ronnie is a tough guy. I think he is. And Byron likes that. That's what Byron looks for. He's a defensive-minded coach, and he likes the guys that are tough. Again, the Pat Riley, tough guy, tough image, tough team stuff. But the problem is Ronnie's not that productive. He can play some good defense, and he does, but it's not that good. It's very rarely really good. And we know we've heard Stu Lance and other people who are hypnotized by Ronnie's defense say, yeah, well, Ronnie's always getting steals, and Ronnie's doing this, and Ronnie's doing that, but he's not. Ronnie had 1 steal in this game in 27 minutes, and JLin had 4 steals in 21 minutes. And I believe, as I said in the short video, I believe this was Jeremy's second consecutive game with 4 steals. He can do this. Not only can he do it, he can also get you points and make plays. To be fair to Ronnie, he is good at assists. And he had some blown assists tonight too. He could have had more assists than the 2 that he had. But Ronnie can't put the pressure on a defense that Jeremy can. Now, I know that Byron has wanted to get more out of Jeremy and kind of the tough love. And look, it's starting to work. That's what I said about the last game. Now I can't remember who they played. The last game, Jeremy played Byron ball. He did what Byron wanted him to do and played the way Byron wants him to play. Well, tonight he did the same thing. He played like that, and he focused on defense. And he had it going on both ends, defense and offense, which is exactly how he played in the last game. And he played in a disciplined way most of the time. He played great. You can't realistically play much better than what Jeremy played in this game. He had an enormous effect on this game when he was in. Huge effect. But if Byron feels the way he does about Ronnie, it doesn't matter because Jeremy's not going to get a chance. Now, there's been various discussion from myself, from other Lin fans. Many people would like to see him stay in LA, including me. But if things, I'd certainly can understand where he and Byron might not fit, or he's not going to get the chance. Now, I've said before, I don't think Byron's going to be there much longer than Kobe is there. There's a chance Kobe can retire at the end of this season. Is Byron going to get fired at the end of this season? No. No, they're not going to fire him that quickly. So if Jeremy does stick around next year, yeah, he'll probably have to play for Byron. Although, if he doesn't have to play with Kobe, that would change things dramatically. We just have to hang in there as Lin fans. I hope Jeremy continues to play the way he's playing right now, because he's playing great, and he's definitely picked up his defense. So let's just play out the next 39 games, and then we'll go from there. And we'll see what he and his team decide to do, and we'll take it from there. It is frustrating, though. This is definitely a circumstance where he could have done a lot more for the team, and he just wasn't given the opportunity to do that. So that's what was kind of going on before the game. There's Tariq Black missed this game because of the ankle injury. Ronnie was back without the mask to protect his nose. Kobe was back from his rest. And who am I forgetting here? There was somebody else that was dinged up or something before this game. Yeah, Ryan Kelly didn't play. I don't know why Ryan Kelly didn't play, to tell you the truth. There's somebody. Oh, Carlos Boozer had a little bit of a ding, but he obviously played. So that was kind of the lead up going into this game. Now let's go through some selective quarter by quarter. I'm not going to do this as long as I usually do, just because there's a couple other things I have to get done tonight. And this is actually getting up later than what I thought it would be. Okay. Middle of the first, I made a note that says the Lakers' energy is low. And again, this meant the starters. The starters just didn't have that oomph tonight, except for Jordan Hill. Jordan Hill played pretty well tonight, and Kobe did play well in the third quarter. But what's happening for Kobe now, with missing the time and stuff, he's going to be rusty. He's going to be rusty, and he's going to lose some conditioning, because you can't replicate playing in a game. No matter how much practice you do, no matter what type of cardio you do, you got to play games to stay in game shape. And he can't do that just because he has to rest his body a little bit more. And then I put, with Kobe in, it looks like an old man basketball rec league. It's like something you'd see down at the rec league, down at the YMCA. And that's fine. Well, Kobe's good at that. But it just doesn't have the tempo that a lot of times you associate with the Lakers. Then I made a note about Anthony Davis. Like I said, he was just flying over people. It's just incredible how athletic he is. I can't remember exactly how tall he is, maybe about 6'10". He just gets so much elevation. It's almost like he's playing a different sport than everybody else is playing. And not only does he have that type of athletic ability, he can shoot, because he's one of these guys that had a growth spurt late. So I think he actually came up as a guard or point guard. So he still has those type of skills. He has shooting skills. He can handle the ball. But here he is, this guy was 6'11" or 6'10" with this massive wingspan and incredible vertical. I mean, this guy is the sky is the limit for him. He's a young guy still in his early 20s. I don't even know what he can achieve. Multiple MVPs, great player on a title team, the lead player, great defensive player. Again, he had 4 blocks in this game, and he can get steals. I mean, he's just, a couple of years ago, the whole thing on him was the unibrow. He's got that eyebrow that kind of, his eyebrows come into one, like it's just one big eyebrow. But now it's like, this guy's the future of the NBA. There's no question about that. And it's going to be fun to watch him because he's just an incredible, incredible talent. Then I put down Ronnie got punked out on a play. He did what we've criticized Jeremy for doing before, which is he overhelped. He wanted to help on post defense, so he kind of went down to help. And then Nate Wolters, who is the backup point guard currently for the Pelicans, they just got him, I think, off waivers. Ball came back out to Nate Wolters, and he just went right by Ronnie because Ronnie had gone in. He had left too much distance between himself and Nate Wolters. So it's not just Jeremy that does this. The reason why I criticize Jeremy the most is because Jeremy's a guy I focus on. This happens to all players in every game. And it happened to Ronnie on that play right there. Okay? Then Ronnie, late in the first, got to the basket and he got fouled. And he got 2 free throws, and those were the only 2 points of the game that he would have. And like I said, look, if a huge problem with Ronnie that we've mentioned before is defenses don't have to respect him. They're not concerned about Ronnie shooting the ball, which means that they can double team other guys. They don't have to rotate to him. In fact, a lot of times they want him to shoot. And this was one of those types of games. And then Ronnie himself won't look to shoot, which makes things even worse. And like I said, you can play the greatest defense ever. And if you can't score whatever, that's going to be a problem because you still have to score to win. And again, Ronnie's defense is decent. It's not great. Statistically, it's just not that great. It's good, but definitely not elite or anything like that. And then I made a note that says, embarrassing Lakers defense. No help defense, and it's basically a layup line. One of the Pelicans just went right through the Lakers. Just right through the entire defense. It looked like one of those sequences from early in the year when it was just like there was no defense being played at all. And the difference here was Jeremy and Carlos Boozer, I don't think, were on the court. These were the starters, and they had nothing. Okay? Jeremy came into the game for Ronnie with 3 minutes left or so in the first, and the score at that time was 17-13 for the Pelicans. Okay, then Nate Wolters did the same thing to Jeremy that he had done to Ronnie, which is Jeremy went to overhelp on defense. The ball came back out to Nate. Nate went to the basket, and he got a layup. So just got to be careful on that. It's not easy. There's so much distance to cover in the NBA and playing defense, particularly the modern NBA, where the guys are sitting out on the three-point line. It's difficult. You have to really work on understanding how far you can play off of your man. Because if not, you're going to get beat like that, which, again, that happens every single game for time after time. It's just you got to keep working at it. Okay, then I put Jeremy forced a turnover. Nate Wolters had gotten an offensive rebound underneath the basket, and Jeremy kind of walled him off, kind of stopped him from being able to do anything. And basically, Nate Wolters essentially fell out of bounds, and so the Lakers got the ball. Then Jeremy missed his first attempt at a shot in the game, went up for a right-handed layup. It went off the backboard and just kind of went around the rim and out. But it was a good drive. It was a nice move by Jeremy. Then he had an assist for a foul, which is he passed the ball to Carlos Boozer. Carlos was going for a shot, and he got fouled. And he got 2 free throws, and he hit both of them. Then Jeremy had his first score of the game. It was he dribbled into a three-pointer. It was about 10 degrees right of the top of the arc. And this is one of the situations where one of the Lakers players set a screen for him, and the defender went underneath the screen. And again, if you go underneath the screen, you are inviting the man with the ball to shoot. That's what Jeremy did, and he just confidently knocked it down. It was great. Okay. Yeah. Then Jeremy had an assist that became a turnover, not to him, but he passed the ball to Carlos Boozer. Carlos had a good angle, but he traveled before he went for the shot. At the end of one quarter, Jeremy had 3 points, no rebounds, no assist. Okay, moving on to the second quarter, Jeremy began on the court, as it was still the second unit out there. Wayne Ellington was getting torched on defense. I put something about that on Twitter during the game, and he was really having a hard time on defense. What is that? Said somebody's not looking very good, but I don't know who it is. Oh, Sacre. Sacre really didn't look that good. Of course, Sacre is mostly out of the rotation now because of Tariq Black. So, I don't know. He just, like I said, a lot of the Lakers, they just didn't look into it tonight. But Jeremy was definitely into it. But many of the other Lakers, they really didn't look into it. Then Jeremy got his first steal of the game. I can't remember how it happened. I was watching it. I just don't remember it. When I went to write the notes, I forgot what it was. Then he was fouled in transition. He went up for a layup, I believe, and was fouled there. He looked like he hurt his wrist a little bit, but he seemed to be okay. He made both free throws, and that put the Lakers up 25-24. Then he forced another turnover. He got up and pressured Nate Walters, and Nate went to make a pass, and it was like I was way short. And I believe Carlos Boozer just kind of, picked it up. He intercepted it essentially because it was so off target. And that led to the Lakers' possession. Then he got another steal, did Jeremy. He got another steal and then drove down the other side and got a layup. So what I said is, and Byron has said this, and this is true, if you play good defense, that'll help your offense. And particularly for somebody like Jeremy, who likes to be in transition and has so much speed. If you can get steals, you're going to get easy baskets, and that's what he was doing in this game. It was working great. Then Jeremy was playing more good defense. I said, great recovery. So he left Nate Walters to go help out. The ball came back out to Nate, and Jeremy was out there to challenge his three-pointer. So he missed the three-pointer, and so Jeremy played perfect defense on that sequence. He helped to stop a Tyreke Evans drive to the basket, and then he ran back out to challenge Nate Walters' three and made him miss, essentially. Then he had more good defense. He was playing two men on one sequence. He was playing both Tyreke Evans and Nate Walters because Wayne Ellington had fallen down. And I think Wayne was guarding Tyreke Evans. So basically, Jeremy had to guard both of those guys for a second, and he did. And usually in that situation, it'd be an easy score, but it wasn't. I think Pelicans ended up missing. That was because Jeremy really harassed them while Wayne kind of regained his balance. Then I made a note that says, JLin is everywhere. He's changing the game by himself, and he was. This is why I was so upset. He should have been put in earlier in the third because he was just, the energy level was off the charts, and he was effective. Then he had a hockey assist, which is, again, he makes a pass, and then the person he passed to passes it to the guy who scores. He made a hockey assist. He threw the ball down full court. He got in the ball, either defensive rebound or that was someone got a rebound and handed it to him. He threw the ball down the court to Nick Young. Nick Young caught it maybe 6 feet from the basket. The defender covered Nick, and then Nick just tipped the ball over to Wayne Ellington for a layup. It was just amazing. It was a great play by everybody, and that made the score 29-27 for the Lakers. Moving on into the middle of the second, Then I put, yes, Wayne Ellington still struggling on defense. And I made a note also that says, this is becoming Jeremy's team. This is what the team can be if they work around Jeremy. And it's, as Kobe kind of winds down, it can be like this. And it can work really well. I just hope the Lakers understand that. We'll see. We'll see if they do or not. But for Jeremy, keep playing like this. Because even if the Lakers don't get it, somebody else will. Then I put Jeremy had a near turnover. He was driving down, and then he kicked the ball out, and it was a little bit reckless. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a turnover. Just be as steady as you can be. Now, to be fair here, Jeremy was playing at a fast pace. So when you play that quick, you will have errors. But it's still good because you're playing at a high pace, which is what you want. Then he had his first assist of the game to Nick Young for a made three-pointer. It was just perfect. Jeremy drove the ball right down the lane. Defense collapsed on him, and he kicked it right out to Nick Young in the right corner for just a perfect play. Then he almost forced another turnover. Tyreke Evans drove down the lane, got past Jeremy, but he knew Jeremy was behind him, and Tyreke didn't want to shoot. Like I said, guys get scared of Jeremy blocking them from behind. And that's what happened to Tyreke on the play. And he almost turned the ball over in that situation. Then he had his second assist. It was on an alley-oop play, the pick and roll with Ed Davis. Ed didn't dunk it, but he just kind of tapped it in. He just wasn't in a position to dunk it, but it was Jeremy drove down the left side of the paint, just threw the ball up. There was Ed, easy tip in. And then I said, Jeremy is attacking Tyreke Evans on defense. This is it. Remember, we've talked about this recently. You make the offensive player react to you. Do the Patrick Beverly wave in the hands. Do the whatever. You pick at them. Put your hands out, but look like you're going to steal. Make them adjust to you. That's exactly what Jeremy did on that play, and it was perfect. I was just so happy to see that. Assert yourself. And that's what Jeremy did all throughout this game, particularly in this first half. And you do it on both ends. And he was just, like I said, he was altering the course of the game almost by himself with the effort and the effectiveness that he was displaying. Then he forced another New Orleans turnover, which it should have been an over-the-back foul against Anthony Davis. Basically, Jeremy was on the inside position of Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was going for an offensive rebound, and he essentially climbed over Jeremy. But there was no foul called. The ball kind of trickled away, and it went to the Lakers. Then Jeremy had his third steal of the first half. New Orleans was doing an inbounds play under their basket. Jeremy just read it and picked it off. It was great. And then I put Kobe had come back in now. He had just come back in. And it was, this is where they don't work on the court together. Because now Kobe wanted to play assist man and playmaker, and that's what Jeremy had been doing, and he had been doing it really well. So it's almost like Kobe was kind of in the way right now. And I hate to say that, but that's basically what it was. This point was 37-33 for the Lakers. And then Jeremy almost forced another Pelicans turnover. He was playing help defense against Omer Asik, of course, his former teammate with the Rockets. And Omer went up to shoot the ball, and Jeremy blocked him. It was just another one of these block shots that he's been getting on these centers recently. And he had more nice defense, and then he had another good defensive play where he closed out. Tyreke Evans was going to shoot a three-pointer, and Jeremy ran out at him, and he missed it. It was a great play. Moving on late in the second, Jeremy played great defense. I think it was Tyreke Evans ran right into him. Tyreke just was on offense with the ball, and he ran right into Jeremy. Jeremy was looking for a charge and didn't call anything. I have no idea why they didn't call that. But the refs were not calling a lot of fouls in this game in general. So like I've told you in a recent video, there are times where the refs just won't call much. And tonight was one of those nights. They were just letting a lot of stuff go. So I don't think they were picking on Jeremy in that situation. It's just they just didn't want to call anything in this game, so they didn't. The ball didn't end up going over to the Lakers, though, so Jeremy did what he wanted to accomplish. Then Jeremy had his first turnover of the game. I believe Kobe passed him the ball, and Jeremy went to make a move, but he moved his feet before he started dribbling. I didn't think it was a travel, but that's what they called it. Okay. Then Jeremy came out of the game with 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in the second quarter. And that score at that time was 42-37 for the Lakers. So they're up by 5. And at 3 minutes and 12 seconds left. And this is where I said that Jeremy can't play with Kobe. And it's unfortunate, but this isn't Jeremy's fault. This is Kobe wanting to still kind of be the centerpiece, even though he can't. It's getting harder and harder for him to do it. And to be honest with you, in this game, Jeremy was better than Kobe was. So this is a situation where Kobe was hurting the team because he was taking Jeremy out of the action when Jeremy was playing great. And it's unfortunate to see. It happens to all great players. Everybody has their time. And, tonight it really didn't work. And again, Byron is Kobe's coach. Byron loves Ronnie. Ronnie works well with Kobe. And that means Jeremy gets the short end of the stick, even when he's playing great, like in this game. And that really can hurt the team. And it hurt them tonight. Then I made a note that says, J-Lin is emerging. If Byron Scott, Kobe, and Ronnie not ruin things, Jeremy's going to get better from here. That's exactly how I feel. Jeremy is, it's starting to all come together for Jeremy. And as long as he is given the opportunity to get the minutes that he needs, I think you're going to start seeing more and more good things from him. He really is starting to understand what Byron wants, how to play Byron ball. He's keeping up his defensive intensity. He's passing the ball more. Play him. We're not making the playoffs. We're not making the playoffs. I mean, that's a fantasy. So that means it's about the time to start developing the young players and seeing what you got. So hopefully Byron will start looking at that starting lineup again. But as I said, even if Byron thinks that Jeremy's better than Ronnie, there's still the issue of Kobe. Because it's going to be difficult for Jeremy to play with Kobe because Kobe wants to play with the ball in his hands. So it's just a tough circumstance. It really is. But it'll resolve itself one way or the other at the end of this year. Either Kobe retires, Jeremy sticks around, it's different, or Jeremy moves on. We'll see. But for Jeremy, just keep playing like you're playing. You're playing great. These last 2 games, he's played fantastic. And this is it. Then Kobe had a wild turnover. I was like, he was looking for somebody to cut, and they didn't cut, and so the ball was like he threw it to nobody, and it was like way up high. So it was one of those plays. And then I put Nate Wolters is crushing the defenders now. Nate was struggling against Jeremy, but now Ronnie or whoever else was guarding him, he was beating him easy. It was like nothing. And the Pelicans had cut down the lead to 1. So it's like the Pelicans had gone on like a 6-1 run as soon as Jeremy left the game. So I mean, Byron, do you see this? This is what's happening. This is the deal. Halftime, Jeremy had 7 points, 0 rebounds, 2 assists, and as I mentioned earlier, he had 3 steals as well as 1 block. He was the best Lakers player at halftime. It wasn't even close. I made a thing on Twitter. He led the team in points. He led the team in assists. He was tied for the lead in blocks. He's doing everything. He was the best player for the Lakers at that point in time. Unfortunately, when he was going to come back in the third quarter, it was already going to be too late. And that was the circumstance that he was in. So at the start of the third quarter, the situation looked similar to what we've seen many other times this year, which is the bench is saving the starters. The bench is the one getting things done for the Lakers. Ronnie had a tough moment on defense where he fell down on defense, but the player that he was guarding missed the shot that they took when Ronnie had fallen down. Then I said that Kobe isn't getting assist, meaning that he's not guys he's passing the ball to aren't finishing their shots. So Kobe's starting to take shots himself, like, well, I guess somebody's got to hit shots, so I'm going to try to hit them. And then I made a note that said Ronnie looks slow on defense. And maybe it's the time off because he missed a couple games with the arm injury and the nose, and he just did not look sharp. He really didn't look good on defense for the majority of this game. And like I said, I mean, it's another situation where maybe put Jeremy in on that. Now, look, as a coach, you don't want to mess up your rotations too much. You don't want guys to not know when they're going to play. They're used to playing at certain times and stuff, but it didn't help the team tonight the way that he coached the game, in my opinion. So then Ed Davis had a nice little jump hook. If Ed can develop a few post moves, little shots around the basket, that could really help him out a lot. And that shot right there, that was a very nice play. And I put Anthony Davis starting to go to work. He just started taking over, particularly on offense. He's hitting jump shots. He's going to the basket. I mean, he's very difficult to stop. And the Lakers weren't having a lot of success stopping him. Okay, moving on into late in the third. At this point now, the Pelicans had taken a 5-point lead. And as I said, the problem here was that the starters weren't playing good defense. So even though they were keeping the game pretty close, the Pelicans got their rhythm. The Pelicans were hitting shots and feeling good about it. And like I said, it was going to seal the Lakers' doom. And late in the third, Kobe already had 4 turnovers and 2 assists. So, again, all those blown assists were adding up, and his stats weren't looking very good. Then Kobe sat down with about 2 minutes and 23 seconds left, something around that. You could see him rubbing his right shoulder, like the right shoulder joint. I don't know if he hurt something or what was going on. Maybe it's just soreness and stiffness of everything that he's been dealing with, but I don't know. I have to, I guess, keep an eye on that. Ronnie picked up his 3rd foul, and then with the score 67-63 New Orleans, Jeremy came into the game. So the deficit was only 4, although, as I said, the trap had already been set because the Pelicans were in good rhythm now offensively. Jeremy had a nice hockey assist. He passed the ball to Jordan Hill. Jordan Hill passed the ball out to Wayne Ellington from a 3-pointer from about 15 degrees left of the top of the arc. That made the score 67-66 New Orleans, and then the Lakers took the lead, 68-67. So with Ronnie and Kobe on the bench, this Lin-led unit had gotten the lead back, which is good. And Jeremy had his 4th steal of the game. This was the play in which Jeremy stole the ball from Nate Wolters, and then Jeremy was in transition, and Nate Wolters stole the ball back. And then the Pelicans scored, which was going to start a run for them. And then Jeremy threw he threw the ball half court at the end of the quarter, just like a heave, basically, which does count as a field goal attempt. So at the end of three quarters, 69-68 for the Pelicans. Lakers down 1. Jeremy still had 7 points, 0 rebounds, and 2 assists, and he had all 4 of the steals that he was going to have in this game. Okay, now the Pelicans did start on this run, and it did come with Jeremy on the court and most of the bench on the court. They pushed the lead up to 8 with 9 minutes and 11 seconds left. And Byron took a timeout, and he wasn't happy. And so this had been like a 9-0 run or something. And then they pushed it up to an 11-0 run. But Byron stayed with the bench. As I said, look, yeah, it's on the bench because they were on the court. But they walked into this. They walked into the team Pelicans playing well already because the starters had lost the defensive intensity early in the third quarter. And that's what set up this whole thing. Yeah, they weren't feeling good about themselves, the Pelicans, in the second quarter or even in the first quarter much. They definitely weren't feeling good in the second quarter with the bench on the floor a lot. And in the third quarter, they felt great. And the Lakers just couldn't change that. They just could not get the momentum back. And that's what happened. That's basically what happened here. Middle of the fourth, now Pelicans up 10, 80-70. Jeremy had his third and final turnover of the game. He drove to the lane. He did a pivot move. He saw Carlos Boozer under the rim. He was open for a second, but the defense saw it. When Jeremy made the pass, it was intercepted. And then I made a note that says, don't get caught up in the Pelicans' run. This is what Jeremy did so well in the last game. Whenever, I can't remember who it was now. Whenever the Phoenix, I think it was. Yeah. Whenever Phoenix would make a run, Jeremy would stay calm. Don't try to cut a 10-point lead down to 1 point in one possession because you can't. Just stay calm, one possession at a time. And I thought Jeremy got a little caught up in it at that moment. It wasn't a bad play. It just make sure you see what you see before you make the pass. So that's really the only thing I can say about his turnovers tonight. I didn't think they weren't bad at all. The travel was just, that happens in every game. A lot of times, honestly, the refs don't call it. So sometimes they call it and sometimes they don't. And it happens to every player, the best players to the worst players. That's not a big deal. The other turnover was an aggressive turnover. This turnover was an aggressive turnover. The only reason, again, like I said, don't get caught up in the moment. Okay, they're on a run. You feel a little pressure to answer it. Just run your stuff. Don't just run your system. Then after that, Jeremy had a great defensive play where he stopped Pelicans from scoring a layup in transition. He really hustled back and got up on the defense to challenge whoever it was and prevented the layup. Then he had a nice assist to Carlos Boozer for a made jump shot. And then I just put New Orleans is on a roll now, and it's over. As I say, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. And you just had that feeling watching this. And this is still the middle of the quarter. There's still a long ways to go. But it was like, no, the crowd's into it. Pelicans are feeling great. They're cheering after makes. They're hitting every shot. It's too late. And it's like I said, to me, this was about what happened in the third quarter, more than what happened here in the fourth quarter. So the lead got up to 12 points with 5 minutes left. Byron took a timeout, and he put the starters in, and that's when I knew the game was over. There's no way those guys are going to come back, and they didn't. And it's, as I said, they're the ones that had no energy. So it wasn't going to happen, and it didn't happen. And so right after that, Quincy Pondexter almost did that massive super dunk against Kobe, which is a really nice play. Got to give him credit. That was a heck of a play, but he missed the dunk. Or else, if he didn't miss the dunk, that'd be on every highlight reel that exists. But he did miss. Okay, then they showed Kobe shooting a left-handed jumper. I guess his right arm was bothering him, as I said, so he shot it left-handed and he hit it. Okay, that was good. And I put Kobe can't guard Quincy Pondexter, which he couldn't. I mean, wasn't even close. Then Ronnie missed an open three. Then Ronnie missed another open three. And then I put Byron Scott must change the starters now. Then Anthony Davis hit a jump shot with Kobe guarding him, and it was just... that was it. The route was on, and it ended up with the 16-point deficit. And look, it's a tough thing. Look, if the second unit had played better offense in that fourth quarter or early, then they could have won. If the starters had played better defense in the third quarter, then the team could have won. It didn't quite happen. The problem is like I said, I think the defense just got away from them, and the work that Jeremy had done and the other second unit guys had done in the second quarter, it was out the window in the third quarter. And trying to score with the Pelicans is a difficult thing to do, and if you are relying on your bench to be able to score with. They were going against the Pelicans bench, but it was a combination of the Pelicans bench plus like Anthony Davis and one other starter. So, I mean, Anthony Davis by himself can outscore most people's benches. So it's true. To be fair, the Lakers bench wasn't effective on offense in the fourth, and if they had been, it would have made things easier. But I said, you can blame that. That's fair, but you definitely have to blame the starters' defense in the third quarter because that set up what happened. And that's the way it went. So we're left with another loss and kind of a what-if scenario. What if Byron had different starting unit? What if the starters had played better defense in the third quarter? What if the bench had played better offense in the fourth quarter? But it all adds up to another Lakers loss and what is shaped up to be a tough season. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses in a row I'm looking at right now. Look, the starting lineup currently isn't getting it done. Now, I think they've performed slightly better than the previous starting lineup, which is with Jeremy and Carlos Boozer, but it's pretty close. And as far as with Kobe and without Kobe, that's very close. So there aren't big changes here. Now, the defense has been better of late. It has been better. Some of that you could say Ronnie and Ed. Some of it is the Lakers made some strategic changes to how they're playing defense. I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but it's just the way they're approaching certain aspects. They've changed that, and it's helped. I think it's time for Byron to reevaluate the lineups again. And at least when Tariq is healthy. And do I think Byron's going to take Ronnie out of the starting lineup? I probably not. Based on everything he said, right? I mean, but if I were him, I would think really seriously about that, as well as maybe you play Ryan Kelly as your starting power forward or your starting small forward, so you get a little bit better shooting, which give you more space on offense. It's time to look at that. Again, this team has the fourth worst record in the NBA. The only 3 teams that are worse than the Lakers in terms of record are Philly, which is trying to tank, New York, which is a disaster right now, and Minnesota, which they've been devastated by injuries, and they weren't going to be any good this year anyway. So those are the only teams worse than the Lakers. Now, we've talked about it before. The Lakers would benefit in the long run from losing because they get to keep the Phoenix pick, which has to be in a top 5 worst record or whatever. And I think they have their own pick. So then they also get another pick, their own pick. So, but if you're trying to win, if you're trying to not have the worst season in Lakers history based upon winning percentage, you're probably going to want to make some changes here because it's kind of hit a wall. I think that the lineup changes worked for a bit. Now they're not working. And yeah, the bench is still good. And yes, the bench unit like Boozer, Nick, Jeremy, Tarek, they have good chemistry. But do you want to win? Do you want to develop your young players? Or are you going to stay with Ronnie and Kobe, who are both on the other side of 30? I don't know. I've said before, Byron was hired, I think, because of Kobe, and let Kobe do his thing. But it might just play out like that. We're just going to keep doing our thing, let Kobe play when he can play, and Ronnie works best with him, so we'll just keep doing it. So, like I said, losing isn't necessarily the worst thing for the Lakers right now. Well, my guess is that if they keep things as they are, they will keep losing. So, I mean, that's kind of where it's at, I guess. I did not get to see any of the post-game stuff, so I can't really comment on that. I didn't see any press conferences or anything, so I have no idea what was said after the game. Just summarizing all of this, and just to restate, Jeremy was brilliant the first half of this game. He could not have played better than the way that he played. He really couldn't have. He was everywhere, particularly on defense and also on offense. And his defense was fueling his offense, which is what Byron has said it can do, and it did. And he wasn't as good in the second half, and he kind of came into a situation that was set up poorly. But he's had 2 games in a row where he's played really well. This game, the stats don't look as good as the last game, and I know last game's stats don't look as good as like the Minnesota boneheaded game earlier in the year or some other games. But he's playing a disciplined Byron ball, good in the half court, making smart decisions way, and balancing offensive intensity with defensive intensity. So regardless of what the team does, regardless of what Byron chooses to do in terms of starting lineups, how much playing time Jeremy's going to get, or any of those things, I hope Jeremy just keeps playing like this. Keep playing the way that you've been playing these last 2 games, because he's on the right track now. I think, like I said, I think he's really figuring it out. He's really, and yeah, it'll be different for different coaches, and he might never need to be good at Byron ball again in his career if he goes somewhere else, or if Byron doesn't stick around with the team. But you want to be able to play the style and the system that your coach wants you to play. This is what Byron wants Jeremy to do. So be good at it, because there's plenty of coaches that are similar to Byron, like McHale. He wants you to play defense and move the ball or give the ball up to your shooting guard. So learn how to play like that. Learn to be good at that type of thing. That's what Jeremy can do right now. And the last 2 games, he's done it really well. So keep doing it. Like I said, don't sulk, don't pout. I'm not getting caught up in the emotional roller coaster anymore with this, because this is what it is. Just do the best you can do with this setup, and hopefully that's what will happen. That's what I'm looking for in the next game. That's what I want Jeremy to do. And the next game will be in 2 days against the San Antonio Spurs, the defending champions, in San Antonio, Texas. It'll take place 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States on Friday, January 23rd, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, and that means it'll take place at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday, January 24th, in China, in the Philippines, and in Taiwan. We know Jeremy can do well against San Antonio. We know he can do well against Tony Parker. We've seen it. We saw it this year, I believe. We've certainly seen it in the past if you've been following JLin. The Spurs are playing very well right now. They just got back Kawhi Leonard, the Finals MVP. They're starting to dial in, are the Spurs. They've been kind of meandering through this season, kind of a bit half-hearted. They've gone to 2 straight finals. They're an older team, or some of the team is older. It's hard to be motivated for the entire season. And San Antonio is still the team that I think is going to win the whole thing this year. If they're healthy, I don't think anybody can beat them. Maybe the Thunder, if the Thunder make the playoffs. Maybe the Warriors with how well they're playing, but I'd still favor the Spurs over either one of those teams. So it's going to be a tough test. I think Spurs have won 4 straight. And I don't know if they're playing tomorrow. I'm not sure. I don't know if they'll play, if there's another game for them before they play us. But that's going to be a difficult game. That's going to be a tough game. This isn't like San Antonio earlier in the season where we went into San Antonio and beat them. They're much better now and much more focused. So look forward to that. Again, hopefully the Lakers can play well, and hopefully Jeremy can play well. And I'm looking forward to seeing it because I really like what I'm seeing from Jeremy recently in these past 2 games. So, yeah, Ronnie's back. Yeah, Kobe's back. Just keep playing your style. Keep playing your style in the Byron system. Adapt your mode to Byron's system, which is what Jeremy has done these past 2 games. Stay strong on defense. Look for those steals. Move the ball and get to the basket in transition and get to the basket in the half court when you see it. And when you're open and the ball comes to you, shoot it. That's it. Just keep it simple. So, okay, that is it for now. This video went longer than I thought it was going to go, but that's okay. There's plenty to talk about. I was just very excited about this game tonight. I'm disappointed the Lakers lost, but I'm really excited for what I saw from Jeremy. And it's not just Jeremy, it's for the team. If you can unleash Jeremy and what we saw in this game, particularly in the second quarter, if you can get him playing like that and you let him run the show, you're going to win a lot, particularly if you put the right talent around him. If you put pick and roll big men versus pick and pop big men. You put guys like Ed Davis. You put guys like Tarek Black. You put shooters like Ryan Kelly and Nick Young. Jeremy could do a lot of damage. He can absolutely start, and he can do well. Is it going to happen in LA? I don't know. I hope it does. We'll see. But he's moving forward now. So let's just take another step forward against the Spurs, and hopefully the team will take another step forward with him. And that's about it. Okay, so thumbs up, thumbs down. Your comments below in the video description below the video player. We'll put information so you can check out highlights of this game. We'll also put information so you can go and check out more about the artist whose work you're looking at right now. Gary Chen of Taiwan. Gary is a blogger and artist in Taiwan, and obviously he's very good. He's really good at drawing, as you can see for yourself, and we're really thankful that Gary has allowed us to use his artwork. Gary is a member of the Jeremy-only Lin Garden fan club, which is based in Taiwan but has members all over the world, with the commonality being that they all speak Chinese. They all speak the Mandarin language, and they're a great group of people. Gary's one of their members, and we know many of their other members, and they're great. They're just nice people. They've always been friendly and helpful with us and appreciative, and we're appreciative of them too. Also, in the video description, information how you can come and join the Conservative in the Media Facebook group, which has over 3,500 members and counting, and how you can come and follow us on Twitter, which is, I don't know, it's 2,985 followers and counting or something like that. Twitter's fun. I love to talk to people on there, basketball, life, just whatever's going on. Usually we talk mostly basketball. We talk a lot of JLin and Lakers, but we just like to talk with people. It's fun. We don't take it too seriously, so come and hook up with us on there. Again, I am PFE, Paul Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 JLin YouTube fan channel. Let's move on to Friday. Tonight felt like it's like I was going to watch a great movie, and it was building up to be a great movie, and then it got stopped at halftime. Or it's like when we're watching, The Matrix Reloaded or whatever, and it was all great, and then they had that little thing with like that big floating baby face at the end. It's kind of like, really? It's like you had all this awesome build-up, and now you have like a big face of a baby. It seemed like it didn't fit, or it was kind of like a unsatisfying ending. That's how this game felt in the third and fourth quarters for the team and for Jeremy. But I'm eager to see the San Antonio game. Like I said, Jeremy has something to build on now. He can really build on how he has played the last two games. And with the news around Kobe, again, look, I respect Kobe. I like Kobe. I hope Kobe feels great. I hope Kobe's able to play every single game he wants to play this year, as many games as possible. The reality is, it looks like Kobe's going to have to sit out more games. So for the team and for Jeremy, there's more opportunity there. So we're not rooting for Kobe to be hurt or his body to be sore, but there's likely to be more chances for Jeremy to do his thing and show his skills. So now is the time to, as an athlete, focus up. Get ready for your turn on the stage, because the chances are you're going to get more turns now. So just keep playing like you're playing. He's playing great basketball, and let's take it to San Antonio and see what we can do. So that's it. Okay, that's it for now. Hope you're having a great night, a great day, wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. I'm being a little bit extra quiet in this video because I can hear the baby next door of my neighbors who is unsettled. So I'm trying to be a little more quiet right now. It is relatively warm here in the northeastern part of the United States, even though it's winter and it's been darn cold this winter. But we're hanging in and surviving. Hopefully all the rest of you are too that are in the northern hemisphere. Mickle, I know you're shoveling snow. I'm sure many other people are as well in the northern hemisphere. And if you're in the southern hemisphere with Melody, Jelly, I don't know if the Philippines is southern hemisphere or not. It's more like the equator, so it's kind of always warm there. Hopefully you guys are having a great time and staying cool in the sun, as as I've been saying, I've been watching some of the Australian Open, following that, but terrific match between Rafael Nadal and Tim Smyczek. Just an amazing, amazing match. Went 5 sets. Rafa pulled it out at the very, very end. And looks pretty warm down there. And that's in Melbourne in Australia, and it looked pretty hot down there. So I just can't imagine that right now with the 20s and low teens and 0 Fahrenheit temperatures here. But we're doing a little bit better right now than we were a couple of days ago. So I'll take it. Okay, take care. We'll talk to you again soon. Enjoy yourself and be well. Until next time.